Time out. There we go. Hey, y'all. Bloodwing here. I'm back to bring some grumpiness to your internet. And welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where you get an extra side helping of black eyed peas. I like black eyed peas. There we go. Not the group, the food.
I was about to say, yeah, you don't strike me as the kind of person who enjoys the Black Eyed Peas music.
Well, the real black eyed peas are kind of an acquired taste. They're not exactly for everybody either. But yeah, you're right. I'm not.
Oh, my shock. Imagine
it. With me, as always, as you can tell, is Irate Bear.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're well this wonderful Easter weekend. Beautiful day here in the UK today, Bloodwing.
Oh, well, the exact we've got your weather today then. It's kind of chilly and just rained all day.
Oh, lots of grey then.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. It's about time that we had some decent weather.
Yeah. We'll be heading into it here pretty soon. I mean, we've certainly had taste of it up to now, but the flowers are blooming. I noticed there were some tulips on the side of the house that were blooming and things like that. So yeah, we're officially out of winter. Shouldn't let me specify, shouldn't see any more snow. Having said that, I have seen it snow here in May. So
yeah, man, I would say a couple of years back and it was May time, just like you said. And, it'd been spring. The weather was lovely. I was walking to the shops and I was walking in between like these two rows of houses down like a little sort of side road. Snow. And I actually stopped and I went, what the fuck?
Opinionated Gulf City Scouts, you can have our rain. I'm not a big fan of rain, but it does rain its share here. There's an old song called Little Green Apples, and part of the lines is God didn't make little green apples and it doesn't rain in Indianapolis in the summertime. So which was meant to be the opposite of what really happened.
Functional was in the chat there giving me some shit. Like,
yeah,
Functional. Beautiful day here in the UK. Oh, still part of the EU, I see. Not so beautiful. Mate, come on.
Way to pee in his Wheaties, man.
Just let me enjoy the bloody sunshine. See how long it's been.
Kyler says, yep, the irises are starting to come up out of front of my house. That's the best part of this time of year is the beautiful flowers that start to bloom. I'm not one of those. I don't garden. I don't plant a lot of flowers, but my landlord planted a lot of perennials around the side of the house. So for a few weeks in spring, it looks beautiful. The rest of the time, it looks like a cracker box. But
I know Functional. I know, and I love the. I don't do gardening myself.
Yeah.
My garden has an awful lot of clay in it. I could get like soil pots and stuff like that, but nah, I'm all right. I like the blossoms from the trees. Pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would garden, but probably if I gardened, which I've done before, it wouldn't be flowers. It would be a vegetable garden.
That's fair enough.
Which I used to do, when I was a much younger man and felt more like being on my knees on the ground. Don't feel much like doing that these days. And I have a very tiny yard, so no room for it.
You could plant a few potatoes, couldn't you?
Oh, maybe on the other side of the shed, it'd be a very, very small plot. Very small plot. We're rednecks. We don't do anything small. The last garden I had, I think I turned half of my backyard where I was living at that time into a vegetable garden. Way more veggies than I would even ever eat. But
Sticks Hexenhammer has a vegetable garden, doesn't he?
I don't know. Does he?
I think he does. I think what he did, I can't confirm this because I've not actually watched the videos, but I've seen pictures. It looks like what he's done is create kind of like these squares on the ground that are walled off by like 2 rows of bricks or whatever, and he's filled them up with soil, filled the gaps up with soil, then put vegetable seeds in. I think he's growing several vegetable or flower patches anyway. I'm gonna have to go look.
Yeah. I mean, it can be fun and all that. In my case, it's not that I'm against gardening, and that I don't particularly like it. It's just that physically, I've not been in any shape for a lot of years. So,
well, you're a little bit better now, mate.
Yeah, a little bit. Don't know that I'm still up to squatting on my knees yet, but yeah, getting there. I actually today's the first day that I've started going about without a bandage on my incision. So we're
good.
Trying to see how that'll go.
Yeah, here we go. I'll show you Styx's garden. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to get a good, because the way he's filmed, I'm just trying to see if he shows all of it in one go. Well, I suppose this might be a good example of what I was saying just in case you were wondering. There you go. I think he has several of these that he set up and is growing stuff. Is he growing veg? I think he's growing veg.
Yeah. I've seen people do things like that before. Yeah. Yep.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. I can remember years and years ago when I was a little kid, and right here in this neighborhood, my grandmother and grandfather didn't really have room for a garden, but they wanted one, so they actually rented the backyard of a house from the owner.
Oh, really?
Build a garden in, yeah. So we would drive over there a few blocks away and go work the garden. But yeah, Bear got him a nice haircut too, looking all summer like, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've cut off the bush, the bird's nest that was sat on top of my head. Or the shelves on the sides of my head. I can never get the hair to sit properly, so I've shaved it all off. I've gone down to a 0 all over, and I'm back to being bald bear as always.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's times that I feel like, okay, well, I want to change my hairstyle a little bit. But I always end up just whacking it off because it's the easiest thing to do and the easiest thing to take care of.
Yeah, it is. Like I did try to go to the hairdressers yesterday, completely forgetting it was Good Friday yesterday.
Right.
I just completely forgot that it was bank holiday weekend, and it was shut again. So I was like, oh, for God's sake, it needs to be sorted. I wanted to go for that haircut that I showed you in DM. Yeah. I wanted to go for that the young Republican look.
Right.
But I can't do that myself. I don't know how to do that stuff myself, and I certainly wasn't going to try because I'm so khaki-handed. So I just go for a skinhead.
I mean, I'm limited on what I can do. I do cut my own hair. I can do a fade, if I'm feeling extra, like I want to put extra time into it. But I generally just go for the all over, number 2 or number 1, and off it goes.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I did, man. I was telling Bloodwing before the stream, I mostly do it myself, and then I get Vanilla Bear to come along and make sure I haven't missed any of it. And yeah, that's it. Simple.
Which is the complete opposite of when I was a teenager, because as a teenager, I was allergic to clippers.
Yeah.
Well,
I've seen the picture of when you were a young man and you had the big hair. Big hair.
Yeah. I didn't let anybody anywhere near me. And of course, previous to that, when I was first trying to grow out long hair, my mom cut my hair. And the only thing my mom knew how to do was a bowl haircut. So I looked like a little Dutch boy.
Fantastic.
But yeah, you reminded me. Happy Passover to any of our Jewish friends out there. Happy Easter to our Christian friends, and to the rest of you, whatever satanic pagan ritual you partake in.
Oh, I felt like some good old-fashioned Christian shade there.
Yeah.
It's the
It's a
religious fight.
joke,
They're coming
folks.
back.
It's
They're
a
coming
joke.
back. Happy chocolate egg weekend.
There you go. There you
we
go. There we can. That's a way we can be all inclusive.
There we go.
And this is a good point to say like and share the stream, because you know that YouTube's not going to help us out. And if you want to go a little further and, you know, give the old man some monetary help, there are links to my Streamlabs and Patreon in the description.
Agree. And I figured that we may as well have this conversation, seeing as it appears to have come up again, at least for one person. Pit bulls.
Oh yeah.
Pit bulls. It's a breed of dog. It's quite controversial. It's controversial here in the United Kingdom. And I know it's controversial over stateside as well. And I was just perusing Twitter, you know, as I do often, you know, looking for Ramonas to give abuse to. And I saw Lozar, otherwise known as Dialogue Always. You may know him. He's usually arguing with me or Ranting Monkey or Sinatra on Twitter. He posted a picture of his dog, which is a pit bull, and it's one of the breeds of pit bulls. Anyway, I think it's 4 different breeds. And it was him tagging Brittany Venti in the tweet, saying, "Oh, this is my pit bull. It's a good doggo," and stuff like that. I'll have to read his tweet so I can give so I'm not missing out on any context. But it was a response to a video she put out last May, I think, early May last year, 2018.
So a year ago, May.
Yeah, and in her video, she made the case against pit bulls. I've not seen the video myself. But Lozar did link me a video that is like a response video that looks to debunk the points that she made. And I just wondered, like, what would be your opinions and stuff? Like, what's your opinion? What's the chat opinions?
Well, I have mixed feelings on that. But before I get to that, P-Dog Knight, thank you for popping in. He's doing what I want, now doing the yard work. And Kyler, still no joy with AdSense. Yeah, just totally silence, just crickets. Yeah, I have a little bit of a mixed feelings about that, and let me explain. Years ago, my cousin's daughter was mauled by the family pit bull. And of course, I wasn't that close or didn't have as much contact as I probably should with them, so I didn't know how the pit bull was treated. But you know, it was pretty vicious. She had to go through a lot of reconstructive surgery and everything. She lived. The little girl lived. She was only like 4 or 5 years old when it happened.
Oh no!
And yeah, it ripped her face up pretty good. They'd done a good job. She's turned out to be a very beautiful young woman, and so forth.
Well, that's good.
But for, you know, the longest time, you use that emotion that happened, and oh God, I hate pit bulls. You know, they're vicious. Oh, wouldn't have one. But as you well know, and as those of you in the stream know, because I've had her on the stream briefly, my daughter has a pit bull mix, but she looks pure pit bull, and is the sweetest little dog that you've ever seen, and more likely to just pee all over herself if you say boo as to bite you. She has bit me once, but it was when she'd never seen me, didn't know me from Adam, and my daughter had shipped her home from Hawaii to here to Indianapolis a month ahead of when her and her husband came home. And so me and the oldest daughter, Mama Minnie, went to pick her up at the airport, and I feel like somebody was probably not treating her right, because she was just bonkers. If you reached for the cage, she just went bananas. And I'm usually pretty good with dogs, and I had her almost out of the cage when somebody come out of a door behind me, startled her, and she bit the heck out of me. And I just laughed it off. I was like, oh, crap. Well, she got me. but yeah, she's just a real sweetheart, and she loves her some Papal. She loves me. But so yeah, I mean, there was, my point is, there was a period of time where I was with the whole pit bulls are vicious crowd because that was my experience. But I have since come to be more along the lines of, I think it has a lot to do with the way they're raised.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, certainly. And I will link the video that tried, or I didn't listen to it all the way through, so I don't know how well it debunked Brittany Venti's video, but I'll certainly link it if anybody's interested shortly. In my mind, pit bulls in particular, or just dogs of that size and generally bigger, tend to be working dogs.
Yeah.
And they need to be trained vigorously.
Yeah.
And people need to know what they're talking about, what they're doing if they're going to have those dogs and stuff. It's like huskies. Well, huskies aren't really vicious as far as I'm aware. I've never really heard of many cases of huskies mauling children, but they are very excitable, as you know, and they do need to be beasted. Yeah. Otherwise, they get a bit unruly. I think it's pretty much the same with pit bulls and stuff. They're working dogs, you know.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law has a pit bull. And you know, she has kids and stuff, and it was, you know, great with the kids, great with the family. Even tolerated a cat.
Yeah.
I thought the cat was more vicious than their pit bull.
Yeah, my daughter also had cats, and that was the case. The cats were meaner than crap. I think what we experienced here in the States with the American pit bull is that so many of them were bred for fighting. You know, because dog fighting, and it still is a thing in places. I don't know if it's as big now as it used to be, but I know, especially among my kin, you know, rednecks and in the black community, it was big business, you know, to fight dogs. And in order to fight dogs, you take, it's all in the breeding. You take the most vicious of the lot, and you breed those, and then you take the most vicious of those, and you breed those. And so what you ended up with a lot of them that did have the tendency to be vicious, you know, with the wrong type of training. Deck Train says cockfighting. Yeah, I had an uncle that was really big into cockfighting, and good Lord, we all hated those roosters, hated them. But that's another story. Yeah, and then you abuse them. Yeah, exactly. It used to be, when I was a kid, the breeds everybody was afraid of was the German Shepherds and the Doberman Pinschers. In fact, I remember there was an entire movie made about, it was called The Doberman Gang, about a gang of Doberman Pinschers that were trained to rob banks. You know, it was a movie. But the mean has since been kind of bred out of them.
Yeah,
you know, we've got away from that, and I hope you understand what I mean. I'm not saying that they're more apt to be vicious than any, but when you take the most vicious out of the litter and breed them, and then you take the most vicious out of the litter and breed them, you will end up with animals that, you know, they're like human beings, and so you end up with animals that are grumpier than the rest of them. You know. Pretty much. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. But
with dogs are better than bears. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I know there are cases of like trained bears and stuff like that, but you couldn't have them, you know, as a pet.
Yeah, random, the bloodwing or the dog. Well, the bloodwing of dog. Yeah, I mean that's what you get when you're particularly breeding for aggressiveness, and that would be true of any breed. You know, any breed, because animals are just like people. They have all sorts of personalities.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So,
my stug is a very excitable animal. I find that my Stug's two different breeds within him tend to counteract each other. because he has the face of a pug. But I think what is he mixed with? I think he's mixed with a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So lots of energy. A small. It's not a small dog. Definitely smaller than a pit bull. Not as muscly either. But like bags of energy, but can't express that huge amount of energy because, well, as we know, pugs struggle to breathe. So he just runs around going. Bless him.
I used to have a dog. I've talked about this dog before on this stream before. Old Shady, that people swore had pit bull in him, but he did not. He had no pit bull in him. His mother was a full-blooded Chesapeake, which is an extremely large breed of Black Labrador. Very big. They have been known to get as big as 7 foot tall on their hind legs. Very big. And his father was a husky chow mix. It was the chow that they seen in his face that made them think that he was a pit bull, and that plus he didn't like strangers.
but the chows look like little lions, except for the face. I mean, they have like a big mane.
Yeah,
they're big though, aren't they, chows?
This dog had a very big head, very big paws. I mean, there certainly were bigger dogs. He would have been about German Shepherd size as far as where he stood at his back.
The chows get big. I can't tell from these
fairly
pictures.
Big. They get fairly big.
They look like they get big. It's hard to tell because they're so bloody fluffy.
But my gosh, he had a big mouth. For a dog that size, you wouldn't think, but he could take your arm almost up to the elbow in his mouth because he done it to me more than once playing.
They grow up to 51 centimeters. So,
but heck of a dog. I sure miss Shady. He would be long dead now, but somebody ended up taking him.
Chows do look like giant teddy bears, Lindsay. I completely agree. Tibetan Mastiffs, they're massive, aren't they? Let's go quick. Tibetan Mastiff, fully grown. But aren't those the things that? Yeah. I think we've looked at these on stream before. I'll just share screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Look at it.
Yeah,
that's good.
That looks like a lion.
That's gonna tear your leg off. They're not the ones that the Russians use at the Russian prisons, though, are they?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's like a Russian bear dog or something. Is that what? Are they actually called Russian bears? They are. I know if I
seen that dog, I'm not going to. And he's acting like you don't go beyond this point. I'm not going beyond that point.
They're beautiful as well, man. They're huge. Look at the size of this. I'm gonna share screen again. He's a big boy.
Oh yeah,
he's a big boy.
Oh, gosh,
you ride that into battle. Good grief! You'd be there for a long time, bloody brushing that dog down.
Oh, no kidding. That was one of the things I loved about Shady. Chesapeakes have slightly longer hair than your normal lab, and it's sort of kind of oily and almost curly in a way.
Yeah,
it's wavy, really, more than curly.
Okay,
but he didn't shed much.
Okay,
he did not shed much at all, and they also have webbed toes. So
that's weird.
Yeah, well, they're a water dog. He loved it when it rained. A lot of dogs where if it's raining outside, you can't get them to go out to go, right? Or they don't want to go. Not him. He begged to go out when it was raining or snowing. He wanted to go play.
Aw, bless him.
Darn dog was over 100 pounds and thought he was a lap dog. And it didn't matter if you come in, he'd be up. If we had guests over for like supper or something, he was all up in their lap, like, get down, you stupid dog. They don't want to hold you.
I like Saint Bernards.
My only kick against Saint Bernards, I like the way they look. I'm not sure I'd want to own one. Is they slobber terribly. Oh gosh, they slobber.
Yeah, yeah, but they're still beautiful.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, the old Bloodwing, he likes the dog. I'm more a big dog guy than the little lap dogs. If those are your preference, good on you. I just not real fond of them. But yeah, I love the dogs.
Beautiful dog. I like bigger dogs, but I don't think I'd ever really be in a position to own one. A lot of them need things like hip scores, and they would require a great deal of more effort in terms of like money, insurance, vet bills, that kind of stuff. Unless it's a pug, then you're buggered. Like,
yeah, bigger dogs do come with their own set of problems. They tend to have what is it, hip dysplasia, and other such problems because they are larger.
I'd have to ask my sister-in-law. She's like a veterinary assistant or something like that. She'd know.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the dogs. I do love me some dogs. We're not allowed to have any here. Our landlord is good enough to let us babysit my daughter's dog as need arises, but as full time, no, we're not supposed to have them. But
I see. See, I like cats, right? I know not a lot of guys are like cat guys and prefer dogs. I have a strong preference for like morbidly obese cats, or what are those ones that you guys have in America? Maine Coons. I love them. I think they're stunning.
I've never been a real cat person. I've certainly had some. And when I was a little kid, we had this cat that we just called Mama Cat, because she was forever having litters. Every time you turn around, she'd have a new litter. But she was an outside cat. Never really had an inside cat. And we had a cat that was actually one of Mama Cat's litters that we just, imagine your shock, called Tom. Yeah, he was Tom Cat. He was a beast. Big cat, black and white. And he stayed, we had a wooden bench right outside our front door, and that's where he stayed. You'd go outside during the day and there he was. But if you went outside during the night, he was not on that bench. He was out looking for a fight.
Oh, really?
Oh, because he would come home constantly bloodied and cut up. But he was just, I never really had any indoor cats. Just they were always outside cats, and they were generally cats that kept to themselves,
Yeah.
Jake Kid, on the other hand, that boy hates cats.
That doesn't surprise me about him, actually. He strikes me as the kind of guy who doesn't like cats.
Yeah. He and I don't condone this behavior. I'm just telling you what he does. He's been known to chase them with his car. So yeah.
Oh, that's naughty. I was driving back from the store the other night, and luckily I have pretty quick reactions, physically anyway, not mentally. We all know I'm retarded. A cat crossed the road, and I managed to slam on before hitting it. I would have splattered it if I'd carried on. But, same thing happened last year, actually, last summer. A dog ran straight into the road, and I had to slam on. Happens a lot where I live. It's really annoying.
Yeah, I've got, like I say, I got nothing against cats. I've just never really had any inside cats.
Yeah.
And you add to that my wife is allergic to cats, so we just haven't had any. So
I like Maine Coon cats. I just like that they're huge.
Yeah.
I guess I like bigger animals. I mean, they're there. I want that one.
Yeah, yeah, but I've seen some big cats that you wouldn't want anything to. Oh, yeah, that's a big cat.
Mm.
That's a way big cat.
You're brushing them for ages as well, I think.
That's wow. That's some big stuff there.
That's some giant pussy.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, I just prefer the big dogs. You know, yeah, that's my preference. I don't mind cats, but I do prefer the ones that keep to themselves.
Well, most cats tend to be quite, well, a lot of, not most, but maybe a lot, tend to be quite independent.
Yeah.
I have two cats. My eldest one ran away or died on it because it didn't start off as an outdoor cat. It was started off as an indoor cat. Then I started letting it sort of roam outside, and I'm not sure whether she died or whether she just ran away. I was gutted. She was my first cat, so I was particularly gutted by that. But I've got two cats now. I've got the retarded one, which you can usually hear meowing on live streams and sometimes in videos if I happen to miss the sound whilst I'm editing it. And you have the other one, which is a little bit feral. She's a little bit feral.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me when I was living in Oklahoma. Lived in Oklahoma for a few months back in the early 80s. And I was working with a fella. He was an electrician. And I was just doing oddball stuff for him, like running wire or, if they needed somebody to crawl through an attic, that was me. That was, that kind of thing. And we were running wire in this warehouse. And I was out on the dock, and where I was at was there was this, I didn't know what it was. It was just an object that was covered with a big blanket. And it's none of my business. I'm not gonna look under there. I'm here to do a job. And I'm pulling on this wire, and pulling and pulling, and I back up against that thing. And when I did, the most ungodly growlish, screamish growl come out of that cage. And I'm like, oh my God, what was that? So then I did lift the blanket, and somebody had captured a wildcat and had it in that cage. I said, oh my gosh. Now, depending on where you live in the States, some call it a bobcat, some call it a wildcat, whatever. They're one of the smaller breeds of what you might call the big cats.
Bobcats.
Yeah.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. They're all claws.
That's a leopard. It's a little leopard. It's a fun-sized leopard.
It's yeah, and they will definitely put the hurts on you. They are all claws. But yeah, they knew, the fellows I was working with knew, and they found it funny that because they purposely did not tell me that they knew. They didn't tell me that wildcat was in that cage there.
That was a bit cheeky of them.
Yeah, I kind of gave them a little piece of my mind afterwards. I mean, he couldn't get at me. He was in a cage built of wood and chicken wire.
He wasn't getting out of that.
Yeah, but I'm like, you could have told me, you jerks.
Is a bobcat a lynx?
If they're not, they're very closely related.
The bobcat, which is Lynx rufus.
Yeah.
It's a North American cat that appeared during the Irvingtonian stage of around 1.8 million years ago. Okay. There's two subspecies. Okay, cool. Yeah. They're lovely, but it doesn't sound like you could domesticate.
You're not going to walk up and pet one.
Yeah, it sounds
unless
like
you
he'd
have a
walk up and pet
Japanese.
you.
Yeah, guarantee a bobcat will spill your guts before you can blink because they are all claws.
They come over and pet your stomach open.
Yeah. uh, so now you know that puts in perspective that story I told some episodes back about my uncle using a wildcat whistle and then getting answered in the dark in the woods, and why he ran as fast as he could across the street and to the roof of the cabin before he stopped. But yeah.
Well, we looked after a family friend's hamster a couple years back, and it was supposed to be like a birthday present or whatever. So we looked after it until it was birthday time. And obviously, this is when my eldest cat was still in the house, so we had to make sure that the door was always closed on the room where it was. They called the hamster Rhino, and unfortunately, well, not I guess unfortunately, but my eldest cat managed to get into the room and climbed on top of the cage. Obviously, the cage was closed, so my cat couldn't get at it. He walked in, and the cat was staring at it, and the hamster was like on its hind legs, staring up as if to say, "Come on, then." But no, my cat didn't eat it or anything. And the hamster was given to the family friend's daughter.
Circus Zero says bobcats scream like demons. They absolutely do. Barry, I'll tell you what, when they scream, it will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Oh, there's got to be a YouTube video.
It's and a wildcat whistle is made to mimic their scream.
Bobcat scream. Bobcat's call sounds like woman screaming.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a quick listen. Oh, there's an ad. I'll have to wait a second.
Of course, there's an ad.
Of course, there is. Oh, here we go. I mean, you guys won't be able to hear this.
Yeah.
They could put a bloody timestamp on this. Is that? No, I don't think that's a good example. It sounds like a women's tennis match.
Yeah, Random, you're not going to be able to hear it, not without OBS or unless he had some program, putting it through some program that put it through.
Yeah, sorry guys. I'll have to listen. I'll try and find a good clip after the stream.
Yeah, trust me, it will make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. It's very scary.
Yeah, I can imagine. What have you been up to today, Mr. Wing?
Oh, being as lazy as possible. My wife had to go into work today, which is unusual on Saturday, but she went in like, God, I think she woke up at 4 a.m. I don't know what time she left. So I woke up to an empty house. So I spent much of my morning just listening to classic rock and chilling.
That's fair enough. That's a good way to spend your afternoon, if you ask me.
Yeah. Just appreciating the music.
Yeah, man. All I've done today really is I did a live stream this morning on our Rate Bear. Then I premiered a video that I did on the whole white privilege thing. I think I told you about it. Was it Monday I told you about? No, not Monday, Tuesday I told you about it.
Might have been.
Released that, and I started collecting content to either have Lord Bear like do a response to or do like a reaction video to. Collected some of them. That's about it, really. Yeah. Skinned my head, had a shower, watched some anime.
Yeah.
There you
go. Faithless says he used to hunt jackrabbits till I shot one and screamed like a wounded baby. Right. If you've never heard a rabbit scream, it's absolutely for real. They do scream. And yeah, it can make you think twice about hunting them again. Never stopped me, but I can understand it.
Is there any news?
Oh, I'm sure we can find something.
I mean, I've got a few articles open.
Well, why don't you kick us off?
I will. I'll kick us off. If Festering Wound is in the chat, in response to your reply to my tweet, who says both of his Maine Coons are 15 years old, and bigger cats don't have long lives. Do they? I assume they have a longer lifespan than the average cat.
Yeah, that's pretty long for a cat.
Because 15 years is pretty good going. But I assume because Maine Coons are bigger, they might have a little bit of a longer lifespan. Let me Google that shit. Maine Coon lifespan.
I think the longest living dog I ever had was 17 years.
Oh wow, Maine Coons live for 12.5 years. So that's the median lifespan of a Maine Coon.
Yeah, so 15 years is beating the odds.
Yeah, that's actually quite a bit shorter. If you look at the average lifespan of like a normal cat, which is 2 to 16 years.
Circus Zero says he tweeted you a Bobcat Scream video.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I will listen to that after the stream, mate, or whenever I stop reading the news. Okay, so the first article is from Sky News, and this was released today, a couple of hours ago. Lyra McKee, who is quite clearly an obvious lesbian, murder. Police concern over new breed of terrorists.
All right.
Whatever could they be talking about in terms of terrorism? Detective Superintendent Jason Murphy warns of the very worrying situation in Northern Ireland as 2 people are arrested. I mean, if it's the IRA, I mean, the IRA typically would send things like letter bombs and stuff.
Yeah,
they would plant bombs in buildings and put them in public places and whatnot as their particular brand of terrorism.
Yeah, I was on Blind Press's stream yesterday. I believe it was. Yeah, yesterday, and we talked about an article that the murder over there in Ireland just recently. And I guess there's a new IRA. Well, and I hope it doesn't turn out to be as vicious as the old IRA, because during the 70s, at least over here in the States, you couldn't turn on the news without a new bombing from the IRA.
Yeah, they were quite the threat to the British public back in the day. And yes, the Cynical Lindsay, the IRA are still around. Yeah. What was it, a couple of months back? They left several bombs in the train stations and stuff. So
my understanding, it's a splinter faction, because the IRA kind of called a truce during this period. It was, in fact, it's called the Easter Truce or something like that. Several years ago. This is a splinter faction that doesn't recognize that truce. My understanding.
Oh, okay. Well, something like that wouldn't surprise me anyway. I shall continue. A senior police officer has expressed his concern at a new breed of terrorists coming through the ranks following the murder of journalist Lyra McKee.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw this headline on Reddit, I didn't think it was going to be this. I thought this was going to be some BS crap that we see from the left, but actually, no, it's not. The comments come after 2 teenagers were arrested under the Terrorism Act in connection with the killing, as the reporter 29 covered disturbances on the Cregan estate in Londonderry on Thursday night. She was shot in the head, is that execution style, and died later in hospital. The men, aged 18 and 19, were held by detectives from the police service of Northern Ireland's PSNI major investigation team and were taken to a police station in Belfast for questioning. Detective Superintendent Jason Murphy, it's a good strong Irish name there, said terrorists were lurking in the shadows. He warned, what we are seeing is a new breed of terrorist coming through the ranks, and that for me is a very worrying situation. Well, that would be incredibly worrying. The IRA was certainly they're a big deal back in the day.
Oh, if you didn't know, and if you didn't live through that period, I mean, even like I said, even over here in the States, we were inundated with the news of the IRA. It was a very, very bloody time for the UK.
Very much so, yeah. They were leaving bombs in places like Manchester city centre, sending letter bombs to MPs. It was crazy. We had soldiers in Northern Ireland that were fighting them on the streets. My dad fought them.
Yeah.
My dad was a Grenadier Guard. He fought against the IRA. He actually lost 2 friends to them back then, and those 2 friends were family friends as well. My mum knew them as well because my mum was had just sort of left the army and was working for the NAFI, which is kind of like a shop chain that works directly with our military. It's pretty bad. And of course, there's the new stuff with the Soldier End drama, which I'm sure we'll get into. The officer who is leading the investigation said there had been a sea change in community attitudes, and that it had been demonstrated in the revulsion expressed by many following the killing. He added, "We identified a palpable change in community sentiment, particularly, I can't say that word, sorry, the community sentiment towards policing. I think yesterday we realized the vast majority of communities across the whole of Northern Ireland support police and support policing, and they support the peace process. What we saw yesterday was a visible demonstration of that within the Craigan community, a community that has been very frightened for a long time, and for a large part is being held to ransom by terrorist organizations that claim to represent them." The PSNI, which released CCTV of the incident in the hope it would help identify the killer, said a gunman fired shots towards police officers at about 10 p.m. In her final moments, Miss McKee is seen standing among a crowd of other innocent bystanders and raising her phone in the air, apparently to photograph the violence. In shaky mobile phone footage also released by detectives, a masked attacker leans from behind cover and appears to shoot towards police and onlookers. Trouble began as officers carried out a search operation aimed at disrupting dissident Republicans ahead of this weekend's commemoration of Irish independence. Officers say that about 50 petrol bombs were thrown. Oh my God.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of petrol bombs. Were thrown during the confrontation and 2 cars were burned out. Miss McKee, who had tweeted about the absolute madness in the area in the hours before she lost her life, was standing near a police 4x4 vehicle when she was hit. In the video, a figure near the gunman appears to crouch and pick something up from the spot where the shots were fired, seemingly confirming detectives' theory that more than one person was involved. Well, I mean, 50 of them. 50 petrol bombs. Yeah, that's probably going to be a couple of people at least chucking them. Oh, wow. Why is there 2 of you in the hangout now?
Because my hangout window decided to do that. Oops, something happened. Do you want to reload thing?
I see. Lyra's murder was not just an attack on Lyra, and it was an attack on the fabric of the community. Lyra's killers have succeeded only in uniting the entire community in condemnation. I wonder whether they care that they killed her, or whether it was it was accidental and they do care and just, I don't know.
Well, if they're anything like the old IRA, they probably don't. I mean, there were a lot of innocent bystanders killed during their bombings and their violence and so forth. And, they kind of took it in stride as well. You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet kind of thing.
Yeah. But that's not good. If that is, I don't know whether that's enough to signal a big change and the emergence of a new IRA.
I hope not. I really hope not for the UK's sake, because I'd hate to see a return to that violence. My understanding is they don't have the support, and they're not nearly as big as what the original IRA was. Like I said, it's just a splinter group at this point, but who knows? What might happen.
Oh, I really hope that's not a signal to return of that, because we don't need that. We don't need that right now.
No.
As Faithless says, Brexit is already dividing the country as it is. We definitely don't need more terrorism than what we already have. MI5 is already having to deal with a lot as it is, stopping Islamic terrorism. I really hope this isn't a sign of strife within the UK. That's really not good.
Kyler says, find them and jug them. My understanding is they have arrested two teenagers in her murder. So, I think I read that earlier today.
Good. Well, I hope they are arrested and they are interrogated to get some bloody information out of them.
Yeah.
Good grief. Of course, that's Northern Ireland, and they obviously have a very different goal in mind in terms of their brand of terrorism.
Oh yeah. Of course, they think they were right. I think by the end of it, nobody hardly remembered what they were even fighting over anymore.
Well, for a united Ireland.
United Ireland. Yeah. There was also the whole Catholic Protestant split thing.
Oh, and,
which played a big part of it. Like I said, let's hope it doesn't go back to that.
Yeah.
Because it was a war zone. There was just no other way to describe it. It was an absolute war zone.
Yeah, it must have been very unpleasant living in Northern Ireland in those days anyway. I mean, I know there's been lots of different offshoots of the IRA throughout the years, and they all kind of had their own thing.
Yeah.
But I really hope this isn't the case again with the IRA. Our troops don't. Oh, sorry.
Oh, thank you, Cryptic, for the donation. I know the IRS was a terrorist group. Taxes man. Yeah. Not that IRS, the IRA. You dingbat. Leave it to Cryptic to tell a bad dad joke. Appreciate you, dude. All right. Was that the end of the article, or
there was quite a bit more, but
more of the same,
more spin. Yeah. I don't really need to read through all of it for you to get the idea of what's kind of happening.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've got one here. Florida man charged over threats to Democrats that mentioned Ilhan Omar.
Say that again, sorry?
Florida man charged over threats to Democrats that mentioned Ilhan Omar.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We do in Florida, man. You should be riding alligators into Walmart or something.
Yeah. And I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened more often up to now.
Naked.
There are crazy people out there. A Florida man has been arrested for threatening the prominent Democrats Cory Booker, Rashida Tlaib, and Eric Swalwell. According to a criminal complaint issued by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, John Kless, 49, made phone calls in which he ranted about gun control, immigration, gay people, black people, and Muslims, including Ilhan Omar. He seems to have a lot of issues. The Minnesota congresswoman who has been the subject of aggressive criticism by Donald Trump. Kless specifically mentioned the elected officials being killed. He was charged on Friday with making threatening communications, the U.S. attorney said. Folks, if you threaten a politician, a public official, that's against the law. The arrest came 1 week after Trump, following controversial remarks about Omar by a number of Republican politicians and media figures, tweeted a selectively edited video that purported to show Omar being dismissive of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Oh, here we go. They're going to try to spin it as that's the reason why this happened. The president was widely criticized for inciting violence against an elected U.S. representative. With Tlaib, Omar is one of the first two Muslim women sent to Congress, a Somali American who came to the U.S. as a child. She is the first person to wear a hijab, a headscarf in the House, in the House chamber. Okay, why is that important? Why did that deserve a paragraph? So she wears a headscarf. Big whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, just whatever.
2 weeks ago, a New York man who professed support for Trump was charged with threatening to kill Omar. Last weekend, Omar said she had experienced a spike in death threats. Yeah, and it's not because of what Trump said. It's because you can't keep your mouth shut, you idiot.
Guys, don't send death threats. Just mean people, you know.
No. On Tuesday morning, Kless called the Washington offices of Swalwell, a representative from California, Tlaib, a representative from Michigan, and Booker, a senator from New Jersey. He left profanity-laden voicemails for each, the complaint said. Swalwell, who is white, and that matters why, and Booker, who is black, are running for president. The day you come after our guns, MFer, is the day you'll be dead, Kless said in his message for Swalwell. He's probably not wrong, but I don't think I'd be shouting out that threat. The U.S. attorney said Swalwell has focused his campaign on gun control. Kless is also alleged to have said, you're going to die. You'll be your deathbed, MFer, along with all the rest of you Democrats. So if you want death, MFer, keep that crap up.
That's what he said.
Yeah, except you interchange some of those words. You know I won't read them.
Yeah, of course.
According to the complaint, the messages Kless left for Tlaib and Booker seemed to reference the video shared by Trump and Democrats' response to it. Of course it did. You definitely don't tell our president, Donald Trump, what to say, Kless said in his messages to Tlaib, according to officials. Tlaib responded to Trump's tweet swiftly, writing, enough is enough. No more silence, with the New York Post and now Trump taking Ilhan's words out of context. No, we didn't. Context has nothing to do with what she said. To incite violence towards her is time for more Democrats to speak up. Clearly, the GOP is fine with this shameful stunt, but we cannot stand by. What makes you think we're fine with it? Now, I'm not part of the GOP, but I am a conservative. What makes you think we're fine with that? Like Bear said, people, violence and the threats of violence is not the proper response to a disagreement that you have over politics. And it never is.
Exactly. So it's a breakdown in discourse.
This is a man, obviously, that has some mental issues.
Would you mind dropping the article link in the chat, please, Bloodwing?
Yeah. Let me get that over there.
I do get annoyed over the whole the thing with Ilhan Omar and the 9/11 tweet, and because people shared it, and that was an incitement to violence.
Yeah,
it's not.
No.
It's
and
not.
Even Trump, even though he went the extra little mile, putting the Twin Towers on there and all that, it still was what everybody was thinking, you know, and just used her own words. Context in this matter, and I've discussed this a couple of times, talked about it on the stream that I was on yesterday. This is one of those rare cases where context absolutely does not matter, because it doesn't matter what context you take it in. Her comments were dismissive of a major tragedy that will never be forgot in this country. It was her dismissive tone, not what she was saying, per se. But yeah, I mean, you have nut cases, you have nut jobs like this guy that are going to come out of the woodwork regardless of what's said. Whatever. Anyway, I'll go on. I'll read a little bit more.
I'm just kind of like just rolling through it and stuff. I know it's already been mentioned, but the president was widely criticized for inciting violence against an elected U.S. representative. But he didn't do that, though.
No.
You know, Trump says a lot of things, and some of them can be considered a little bit crazy sometimes by a lot of people. I don't think that's the case. I think he's come a lot closer to inciting violence against the mainstream media than what he's done to lead.
Trump definitely needs somebody whose only job it is to stand there and say, "No, Mr. President, don't hit the send button."
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he definitely needs somebody watching. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy it and laugh at it. Oh, he cracks me up.
I'm not saying that the president has incited violence against the mainstream media, but I personally feel like he's come quite close.
Yeah, he does need a little help on restraint, on when to and when not to hit that send button.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Anyway, I'll go on here at least for a few more paragraphs. According to the complaint, oh, you're going to love this. According to the complaint, class called Talib Taliban and Omar a Talhead. And said of Omar, you know what? She's lucky. She's just getting death threats. So are you. All right. You're lucky. They're just threats, MFer, because the day when the bell tolls, and this country comes to a war, there will be no more threats. Yeah, this guy definitely has some mental issues. I mean, let's be clear.
Provided it's true. I mean, this is coming from The Guardian.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see any links in there to any kind of audio or any kind of report.
There was another link to another accounting of the story, but it was the Washington Post, and we all know they're behind a paywall.
I would be a lot more convinced if there was like a police report in there. Surely there must be a police report that you can access.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can access that stuff, can't you? Like public, isn't it?
Oh, probably, yeah. He is said to have added that there were millions of us who hate you, MFers, man, for what you've done on 9/11, and to have used racial terms in reference to Barack Obama, who he claimed was a Muslim. Investigators traced the phone number to Class, who lives in Tamarack, Florida. The complaint said, I mean, there's all the proof you need that he's not right in the head. He lives in Florida. I mean, come on.
He was probably naked and trying to have sex with a budgie or something when he was
in Walmart. In Walmart,
yeah.
A spokeswoman for the U.S. attorney said some weapons Class owned had been seized. Of course, they don't say what those weapons are. He appeared in court on Friday and was released on bond, subject to a GPS monitor and a curfew. In February, U.S. Capitol Police investigated Class over a message left for the Democratic House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. According to the complaint, the message concerned Congress taking away his guns, abortion, illegal immigration, and Muslims in Congress. It was not clear what action, if any, was taken. Last week, Pelosi asked Capitol Police to review security arrangements for Omar. I have no doubt that she probably needs extra security right now.
I would suggest that most politicians need extra security.
My suggestion is it's not because of Donald Trump's tweet, it's because they can't keep their mouth shut and they can't read the room.
Yeah. I mean, AOC, Talib Omar, and the other one, it's Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. That's it. I always get them mixed up. AOC and her two muzzy companions.
The three amigos is what I've taken to calling them.
The three bloody morons. They say a lot of crazy stuff.
They do. And they back each other up and they double down on it, and they can't read the room. They think that because everybody they surround themselves with think like they do, they think the whole nation does. And it doesn't. It just doesn't.
I mean, they're very much the focus of a lot of the left-leaning media. So that they're pretty much, and of course, AOC in particular is the focus of the right-leaning media. So their faces are everywhere right now because they just can't seem to keep their friggin' mouth shut. And they keep doing stupid, bloody things.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that their actions would invite heavy criticism.
Yeah.
Bullbags.
I mean, uh, and you can't call them out like they've already said. "Oh, it's inciting violence and everything." Excuse me, you're a public figure. You're a politician. You're an elected official. And when you become that by your own accord, you decided to do it to run for office. And when you become that, everything you say, do, eat, drink, everywhere you go becomes public domain and is going to be scrutinized with a magnifying glass.
And it's and it could happen to moderates and whatever else. I mean, and it can happen in the UK as well. It's not just an American thing. It's certainly not a racist thing. I mean, a couple of years back, the leader of the Labour Party, not Corbyn, the last one, Ed Miliband. He was. I wouldn't describe him as an actual lefty. I would say he was more of a sort of centre-left kind of moderate type. Right. Much more of a kind of corporate guy in general. I mean, so some of his policies were quite left-leaning, the mansion tax, for example. But like, he was heavily criticised in the media for the way that he ate a bacon sandwich.
Yeah.
He never lived that down.
Well, do you remember right after he was elected, Trump, there was something about the way he ate ice cream or something? I don't remember the exact story, but I remember that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Is it that slow of a news day? You got to watch the president eat ice cream?
Yeah. And the media does do that. It does that to everybody, and it's, I mean, don't get me wrong. They certainly do it more to Trump than anybody else I've ever seen.
See, that's what kills me. Yeah. Thank you, Midnight Night Exile. Trump had 2 scoops. Yeah. That's what it was.
2 scoops, 2 terms, 2 genders.
Yeah. Had 2 scoops, and that was big news for the day. Right. And that's what cracks me up. All this hollering by the 3 amigos about, inciting to violence, but yet it's the left-leaning media. Trump gets scrutinized and picked on far more than any of you 3 do.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, good grief.
And there are people inciting violence against Trump every time he tweets, and they ain't getting arrested.
Yeah. I mean, the man, and he proved it. Just a couple of weeks ago, he simply tweeted "Good morning," because I seen the tweet. I'll admit to you, I follow Donald Trump because he makes me laugh. I follow him on Twitter. He makes me laugh, and he just tweeted "Good morning," and oh my gosh, the lefties went nuts. What do you mean by that?
Fuck you! He just said "Good morning."
Yeah. And Kaban Dali says he's not even allowed to block tweets or followers. Yep, the Supreme Court said nope, can't block them because that's freedom of speech and all that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna find it.
You or I are allowed to block anybody we don't want to talk to, but Trump can't do that because he's an elected official.
I wonder if he's allowed to mute them though.
I don't know.
I imagine he's probably not allowed to, but I would be interested to know whether he could mute them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question. However, having said that we are at that time, folks. The old man has to go take a leak.
Okay.
So
you go for a tinkle, and I will talk to the chat.
You do that
for a moment. I'm just looking for Trump's "Good morning" tweet. Where are we? God bless the people of France. Okay. Nice try. You couldn't seem presidential if your life depended on it. The people of France despise you and everything you stand for. It's time for you to sit down and shut the fuck up before you embarrass us any further. This is not about you. He just said, "God bless the people of France." Like, what? There's a reply to that saying, even when the man's trying to be kind, you people crap on him. I mean, come on. I don't like everything Obama has done, but I can appreciate when he's trying to be genuinely kind. Why can't you? All right, that's it. All right, it's because you're so full of hatred. There's no room for empathy. He just said, "God bless the people of France," man. He wasn't trying to make it about himself. If he'd gone in there and compared the Notre Dame fire or something like that to a fire that he was, sort of involved in, then maybe that could be construed as, him being trying to make it about himself. the fuck is he on? These people are crazy. These people are genuinely insane. They're friggin' nuts. But how's it going, chat, anyway? I hope you're all well on this glorious Saturday, the 20th of April, 420, 2019. And we have Loki Mad Hatter. Good to see you, dude. I'm late because I was watching one of Papa other streams. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I hope you had a good time, man. I hope you had a good time. France in the middle of a crisis involving very angry citizens. They're one to talk. I'm not sure if like the people of France overall hate Trump or whatever. I don't know what their general attitude towards him is exactly. But yeah, France has a lot of civil strife at the moment over gasoline prices and whatnot. So I mean, whatevs in it. A backward compatible PS3, a load of PS2 RPGs, and a smoke, drink good weekend all around. Cool beans, man. Cool beans. What you got? What you got on you? And hello to you, Jack Gunsky. I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're well. Are you back?
I am back.
I could hear old man noises in the background.
Probably hear me breathing.
Yeah.
It's because I just sneezed right before I turned my mic back on. We're in that time of year that my allergies will act up if they're going to.
Trez is angry at me.
Trez is? Why?
Because I skinned my head.
Oh.
Yeah, she told me that she said, "Don't you dare," to me yesterday, and I snuck off while she was AFK and shaved it all off. I have some more news if you'd like me to go through it, mate.
You go right ahead.
Okay. You probably would have seen this on Twitter, all of you. You may have seen the video of the several hundred police officers kind of like marching through London.
Yeah.
That's to do with something called the Extinction Rebellion. And of course, that's a climate change protest that's happened in London this week. Extinction Rebellion. Metropolitan Police asks for 200 extra officers. I believe they're all smoking weed and shit, so I think you'd be all right, to be honest. The Met Police has requested about 200 extra officers from neighbouring forces to help deal with the Extinction Rebellion protests in central London. Oxford Circus was reopened to traffic on Saturday afternoon. Hey, that's today. After officers cleared demonstrators, protesters continued to occupy Waterloo Bridge and Parliament Square. The Met said 750 people had been arrested. Oh, really? It got violent? A bunch of stoners getting violent? What's going on here? And 28 have been charged. Okay. Commissioner Cressida Dick, who you may have seen me talk about before. She's the lady, the head of the Metropolitan Police. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner, anyway. I had her on a thumbnail for my knife crime video. Said, I'm going to say it one more time. Commissioner Cressida Dick said it had caused miserable disruption. Well, the weather's starting to get a bit, hotter now. So yeah, I imagine it's been quite unpleasant for those stuck in traffic, sweating in the cars and whatnot. Every day we have had over 1,000 officers and now over 1,500 officers working to police these protests. It's had an impact not just on the police, but also on the public. At about 5:30 BST, police were able to clear protesters from the centre of Oxford Circus, allowing for traffic to flow through normally. Dozens of officers also carried out arrests on Waterloo Bridge and slowly removed campaigners who had attached themselves to a truck acting as a stage. Oh my God, they're proper hip. They are actual hippies as well. Like if you, I'll give you the article and you scroll down and you can see like the first thing I'm greeted with is a woman with green hair. Ms. Dick. That's her name, dude.
I believe you. I just love the way you're saying it.
Said the force was still liaising with others and encouraging them to go to Marble Arch to carry out a lawful protest. Doesn't sound like they're being very lawful to me. If you don't want to go to Marble Arch, then go home, she said. Thanks, Ms. Dick. I've been walking about there today, and I can assure you many people are very fed up. Oh my God, you scroll down even further in that, you can see even more hippies. It is understood the Met have made a request to the National Police Coordination Center late on Thursday for help with extra officers from neighboring regions. It would be a lot easier if our government hadn't reduced the size of our friggin' police force, but you know, whatevs. A spokesman for the National Police Chiefs Council said forces routinely share officers through mutual aid in order to deal with large-scale events. He added, it is used to ensure an appropriate police presence exists where there is increased demand for it. MPOCC, which is the previously mentioned National Police Chiefs Council, works with forces to determine the requirements should the needs arise. You scroll down even further, there's more hippies.
So you're saying they're soap dodgers?
It looks like it. Like you look at some of these pictures, and it's like 1960s colorized.
We had color film in the 60s, Bear. Come on.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did.
1860s for you.
I mean, I may not have seen my first color TV until 1976, but we had color film.
Well, I mean, you still had fuzzy pictures. If not colorized, then at least 4K.
There we go, remastered.
Yeah, remastered for the current generation of people reading the news. They do look like a bunch of hippies, though. Is that I can't tell if that's a guy or a girl wearing flowers in their hair.
Well, that was the 60s. There was no telling.
Oh. God, I bet there was a big, sweaty, dirty, hairy orgy afterwards as well. Dirty
hey,
bastards.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Well, I mean, at least shave it a bit. Earlier, one demonstrator said to the group, "Holding the space is important, and being arrested is not undignified." Until they, spray some spray some of that CS shit in your face. We are here for an important reason, so we should be prepared to be removed for that. Being arrested is a statement. On Good Friday, police removed a pink boat. See, hippies that had been parked. All right, first of all, you don't park a boat, all right? Yeah.
Well, I seen a video that included that boat, and it was parked.
What was it?
It was in the middle of the street.
I should have continued reading. It was in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
So yeah, they parked it. Earlier that day, actress Dame Emma Thompson addressed demonstrators from the top of the ship.
Yep.
It's not a ship, it's a boat, all right? Come on. Mm-hmm. Extinction Rebellion said nearly 50,000 people had signed up to join the group since the protest started.
And they were protesting what? What are they protesting?
Well, it's for climate change.
Uh-huh. And how did she arrive, Emma? How did she arrive at the event?
I believe by jet.
Yeah, and probably flew one back.
It doesn't say much about Emma Thompson, though, but yeah, it's the group has three core demands: for the government to tell the truth about climate change, to reduce carbon emissions to zero. But the thing is like the UK, as far as I'm aware, is ahead of, I think, every other country in the world in terms of reducing our carbon emissions, and has already pledged to kind of reduce our emissions to zero by 2050, I think it is.
Yeah, Mike Savage gets it. Thompson flew to the protest over a ton of CO2 produced.
My shock. And of course, the third demand is to create a citizens' assembly to oversee progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Midnight ANX, you can't reduce those emissions to zero for a start.
No. We'd all have to hold our breath and quit breathing. I mean, come on. That's when we breathe. That's what we exhale. Jack Gunsky, I agree. The truth is that climate change is overblown. Bear and I have had this discussion before. I think on stream, if I remember, but I'm an old man. I don't remember all that. Um, I have no doubt that there's a climate change going on because it's happened over and over and over in the lifespan of our planet. Where I have my doubts is just how much of a role human beings are playing in the current one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of went on a bit of a spurg during my morning stream this morning, you know, complaining about content creators who go out of their way to kind of point the finger and go, "Oh, you're so dumb," to like conservatives. It's usually conservatives,
Yeah,
who aren't convinced by climate change or are skeptics of it or just straight up don't believe it. They're like, "Oh, you don't believe in climate change? You're so dumb." And my point is like, okay, you can say that, but I don't see any of you actually trying to debunk any of them.
Yeah.
Like I saw a couple of videos yesterday on YouTube, and it was more of the centrist lefty types that kind of started off in this genre that are off doing other things now. But they'd made a couple of response videos in the last couple of months responding to conservative creators, you know, and they were like, that this idiot doesn't believe in climate change. And there were no citations.
Yeah. Oban Delhi against why doesn't anyone acknowledge that China is the leading polluter in the world? Is it because we all owe them money or something? And I said exactly that a couple of streams back, that China is the biggest polluter in the world. You know? So I'm not sure if every Western country in the world went totally green, just how much of an impact we'd have. You know? Because then you'd have China and then India and all the others that are major polluters that, yeah, they're not going to go green. They don't have the money to go green. Well, India doesn't, maybe, but, you know, China's going to say, screw you. We do what we want to. You go home now. You eat too much.
You know, I'm not sure about climate change because I hear lots of different things from different scientists. They can't seem to agree on what the crack is with it. All I know is that pollution is a thing, because I can physically see that shit, and we should do something about that. And recycle, and I'm not sure what else.
I'm not against lowering our carbon footprint. I am not against lowering pollution and stuff like that at all. I'm not against that. I'd be stupid to be against that because pollution is bad. It's not good for anybody. But where I have an issue is I don't know that we're really having that big of an impact on the climate of the earth. I mean, look, the universe is not a stationary thing. It's always in flux. It's always in change. Not just our planet, the entire universe. And things are always constantly changing. And I firmly believe we're just in the midst of one of those changes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Let's, by all means, you know, let's clean up our lakes and rivers and the ocean of all the crap that's being dumped into them.
Yeah.
You know, let's not destroy wildlife with pollution and rubbish and garbage and all that other kind of stuff. Let's find a way to kind of deal with all that kind of stuff. But creating green deals that are not financially viable
that cost $600,000 per household.
AOC. Yeah. I don't think that's the way forward. I find that a lot of these things are badly put together, badly managed, and I don't think they'll have much in the way of an impact on the climate. You know.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, I do not deny that we're in the midst of a climate change right now. I don't deny that in the least. I just don't think it's the issue that everybody's making it out to be. We certainly got more than 12 years to go. AOC again. But, you know, and I'm not convinced that human beings are making that much of an impact on it. I think it's just a natural progress that the earth has always gone through. You look back through history, there has always been climate changes. I mean, the ice age, come on, you know.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Matt, let's don't look at it like we always have done. Oh, global warming, the ice caps are melting, we're all going to drown, or climate change, the earth is getting hotter. Or how about we look at it a different perspective? Like, okay, we've got a bunch of these dirty factories that are pumping out dirty air, and that air is having a negative effect on the health of the people.
Yeah.
So why don't we find a way to kind of clean that air up a bit? Find a way to deal with garbage and recycling and all that kind of stuff. Let's look at new energy sources.
Yeah. Attack alpaca. Hello, everyone. Just got back from being outside in this beautiful climate change weather. There you go. Hope you got a tan.
That was one thing I said this morning. I was like, I can't wait for the UK to become a tropical paradise.
Yeah. I hope it does warm up. Yeah. That cracks me up because, jokingly, most of the time we'll say, well, I know here in the American Midwest, our winters have gotten colder. Yeah. We're supposed to be in the midst of global warming, and then you get, you just don't understand how global warming works.
You guys in America have had it horrible the last couple of months.
Yeah.
With your weather freezing.
Yeah. I'd like to. Now, come summer, they absolutely, our summers have gotten a couple of degrees warmer, at least here where I live. But yeah, make Alaska tropical again, Faithless says. There you go.
To be fair, they probably could do with that. Cuban Dali in the chat there says, let's start holding companies accountable as well. I think we already do, at least to a certain extent. I'm not too sure of our legislation here in the UK, but yeah, if these big industry, factory, industrial companies are dumping shit into the ground or dumping it into local lakes and stuff, and absolutely hold them accountable for it, because that's local. That's a local tourist spot potentially, or at least a spot for the locals to go to and have a nice time, Yeah. And it drives away wildlife. And my sister from another mister's in the chat there.
Hi, Mom Minnie. Hi, sweetie. Those of you that don't know, those that are new to I do have a few new subscribers, I notice. She is my real life daughter, my oldest daughter. Not my oldest kid, but my oldest daughter. J Kid's got the title of being the oldest.
I hope you are well, Mom of Many. I hope you are well today and having a lovely Easter weekend.
Yeah. And hope you're not having any issues and you know what I'm talking about with that stalker. I still mean it, sweetie. If you want me to, I'll come whoop him. I mean it.
These climate change protesters, all right, if you want to protest, cool beans, man, just do it peacefully. You don't have the right to break the law. You don't have the right to infringe on other people's rights.
And you might want to think of your own carbon imprint, footprint, flying a jet plane thousands of miles there and thousands of miles back. Kind of sends a mixed message.
Yeah, it's certainly not a good message.
I want to go green as long as it doesn't affect me.
Yeah. Hypocrites. Oh, I have another article. I told you to send Bear, you'll come get beat up.
Hey. She's talking about her stalker. She told me to send you.
To go sort him out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go sort him out. She thinks I would get whooped. Hey, never underestimate the old man. He's still got a little bit of life left in him.
Mama Minnie could probably kick my ass.
I guarantee she could. I absolutely guarantee she could.
I've got some more news. I do have some more news.
Well, you come on with some more news.
This is a little bit British centric again, so I do apologize. But it's still social media. So, Facebook bans UK far right groups and leaders, and they've included the BNP, which is the British Nationalist Party, and they've also included Britain First. Last time I looked at the BNP website, they pretty much openly admit that they're fascists. Although, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I've also looked at the policy of Britain First, and some of their positions are awfully authoritarian. But anyway, Facebook has imposed a ban on a dozen far-right individuals and organizations that it says spread hate. The ban includes the BNP and Nick Griffin, who looks like a villain from the DC universe, and the English Defence League and the National Front. Of course, the National Front wasn't mentioned at the start of it, but yes, the National Front is a far-right organization here in the UK. The list also includes Britain First, which was already banned, but this latest action will prohibit support for it on any of the US firms' services. I read Bear streaming again. Tempted, very tempted. To do what? Exactly. I'm suspicious now. Oh, hold on. Are you on about Discord DMs again? Because I prefer it if you didn't do that, you frigging ballbag. Individuals, sorry, it said it had taken the action because those involved had proclaimed a violent or hateful mission. Individuals and organizations who spread hate or attack or call for the exclusion of others on the basis of who they are have no place on Facebook, the social network added in a statement. The ban includes the British National Party and its ex-leader Nick Griffin, Britain First, its leader Paul Golding, and the former deputy leader Jada Franson. EDL, the EDL, the English Defence League, and its founding member Paul Ray, Knights Templar International, never heard of them, and its promoter Jim Dawson, I think I pronounced that correctly, National Front and its leader Tony Martin, and Jack Renshaw, a neo-Nazi who plotted to murder a Labour MP. Don't know much about that story. I don't know much about that story, so I couldn't tell you. I might have to Google the guy's name to see how legit that is. A spokesman for Facebook clarified what would now be done to the pages of the groups and individuals had run on its site. All those named would be prevented from having a presence on any Facebook service. In addition, praise and support for the groups or named individuals would no longer be allowed. The ban was long overdue, said Imagine My Shock MP Yvette Cooper. Gosh, she's so difficult, that woman. Chair of the Home Office Select Committee. For too long, social media companies have been facilitating extremist and hateful content online and profiting from the poison. They have particularly failed on far-right extremism, as they don't even have the same coordination systems for platforms to work together as they do on Islamist extremism. Ms. Cooper said the measures were a necessary first step and should be strengthened by independent regulation and financial penalties for firms that were sluggish to remove material. We all know the appalling consequences there can be if hateful, violent, and illegal content is allowed to proliferate, she said. This current action, said Facebook, went further than the restrictions placed on Britain First last year when its official pages were removed for breaking the site's community standards. The latest move comes soon after Facebook said it would block praise, support, and representation of white nationalism and separatism on its main app and Instagram. Some controversial figures such as Tommy Robinson are already subject to bans on the social network.
No, just leave that stuff up so people can laugh at it. I mean, seriously, leave it up because somebody said here. Loki, Mad Hatter says, wouldn't that just push them underground, make them stronger in their ideas? Yeah. You don't want to cover stuff like that. Leave it out so the most normal human beings look at that crap and understand how ridiculous it is and stupid. I'm sorry, Bear, I interrupted you. Bear? Oh, he muted himself, I guess. I didn't hear that. But yeah, I mean, Britain doesn't understand how banning affects visibility. Exactly. I mean, come on. Yes, I hate people, and that is true, but I have enough faith in humanity to believe that most thinking people realize how stupid white supremacy and things like that are. I mean, come on.
I did say I'd be back in a second.
Yeah, I didn't hear you because I was running my gums.
In my opinion, on this situation with the Facebook bans, is the same thing that I always say. It's the same thing that I always say. Unless they were directly advocating for violence, leave it up.
Yeah, just leave it up and let people see for themselves how stupid it is and laugh at it.
You know, we did this with Nick Griffin years and years and years ago. I remember it. They let him go on to BBC Question Time, and he made himself look like a moron. This kind of thing is best left out in the open. You know, it can be challenged properly. It can be held accountable, and those ideas could be challenged.
Yeah,
properly. You know.
Cynical Lindsay says white supremacists and any racists are absolutely fun to mock, and they are, because their ideology falls apart so easily under scrutiny, you know. So yeah, no, stop with censorship. Stop it. Nobody
vomit sausage, you animal. Did you have to do that? He keeps sending me like photoshops images of certain British politicians on top of disgusting nude bodies. That's still not as bad as Diane Abbott, the big fat thing that you sent me.
Is he trying to compete with Suit Yourself?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, he's basically Suit Mark II at this point. But yeah, I agree. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Yep.
When it comes to this kind of stuff, ideas could be challenged. Yes, I know that there is a strong possibility of radicalization and stuff, because a lot of kids, especially young lads and stuff like this, are quite prone to it. But you know, at the same time, that's why it needs to be challenged. You know, instead of just censoring everything, and you're making it even more tantalizing by banning it, really, because they're just going to go elsewhere to look for it.
Right. Is that forbidden fruit?
Exactly.
I mean, here in America, and we just talked about it here recently, the best, there's a great example, you know, prohibition. They outlawed alcohol. What happened? the nation drowned in alcohol, all of it illegal. And a lot of people died because a lot of that bathtub gin was poison. You know,
some good movies surrounding the prohibition.
Yeah. It doesn't work. It makes it more appealing. And by the way, speaking of that, happy 420. I meant to mention it to you, those of you that partake. Happy 420. I don't, mainly because it's illegal in my state, and I'm not going to jail just for smoking some weed. So
that's fair.
Hey, if you're where you can legally, whatever.
Yeah, man. Oh, buggery! I forgot what I was going to say now. This is the thing, isn't it? Yeah, any kind of extremist ideology, you go ahead and ban it like that. You know, you're going to turn it into forbidden fruit. You know, and that in turn allows them to become, what Faithless says, martyrs. It allows them to victimize themselves.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. You really don't want that.
Yeah. No, you don't. They don't get that. That by doing that, they're going to have the opposite effect of what they intend. Was that the end of that article?
Yeah. I do have two more. I don't know whether you wanted to read something yourself or.
Yeah, let me slide in here with one. This is actually a local article that I just happened across. Indiana hiker spots huge snake hanging from tree branch. And it's not that we don't have snakes, but it's the area that this is in. We don't have, in southern Indiana, we have some huge rattlesnakes. Huge. In fact, there's a I forget what it's called. It's a snake roundup where people they make a day of it, going around rounding up all the rattlesnakes that they can in southern Indiana. We have some big ones, but a hiker in Zionsville, Indiana, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump. It's just a little north for me. Very short trip. A hiker in Zionsville, Indiana, was in for a slithery surprise when she came across a huge eastern rat snake hanging from a tree branch. The hiker, identified as Michelle Modglin by the Township of Zionsville Facebook page, was walking along the Big Four rail trail when she saw the eastern rat snake, also known as a black rat snake. Though it's not clear how long this particular serpent was, those creatures typically reach lengths of 3 to 5 feet, though they can be longer per the town's post. Although their size can be intimidating, rat snakes are predators to mice and rats and help keep our local habitats healthy. They will also eat squirrels, chipmunks, and birds, as well as bird eggs. Rat snakes are excellent climbers and prefer to relax up in the trees instead of down on the ground, it reads. Now, if that's not going to make you look up at the trees while you're taking a hike, I don't know what.
That sounds terrifying.
Poisonous or not, I'd be scared to death, commented one person in response. Great creature of a beautiful animal, said a second. Wow, I would surely turn around and run the other way, non-venomous or not, a third wrote. Park goers in Zionsville can also come across a variety of other snake species, such as Midland water snakes and garter snakes, among others. Black rat snakes are keen swimmers and climbers, skills they often use when catching prey, according to the National Wildlife Federation. These serpents are also constrictors, meaning they use their body to suffocate their prey. All snakes can bite or musk if they feel threatened, warned the town of Zionsville in the Post. We ask that you show respect, give them room, and take lots and lots of pictures. So, yeah.
I'd probably run as well.
I've seen a rat snake when I was in Kentucky. It was actually in our house. Yeah. Go to bed thinking about that one tonight, folks.
I'm going to Google it.
They do get pretty good size, very thick.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Okay, fair enough. There's a picture of one eating a rat here.
Yep.
Okay.
They're pretty harmless and everything, but if you weren't expecting it and run across one hanging from a tree over your head, yeah, it would probably give you the willies.
Yeah. Probably freak me out a little bit there. They're all the spawn of Satan, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, my dad is deathly afraid of snakes. He's as afraid of snakes as I am of spiders. And those that have followed me for a while are very well aware that I'm highly arachnophobic to the extreme. But Dad's like that with snakes, and he swears that they will hunt him out. There could be a group of people in an area, and the snake will come right at him. He swears that's true. Yep. So there you have it. Just an interesting little local story.
I really wish you could have watched my spider video.
I couldn't get through it, Bear. I couldn't. I tried. He had a spider video, people, showing spiders and freaking out and so forth. And he shared it with me via Twitter DMs before he released it to the public. And I was watching it. I seriously was watching it till it showed that first great big son of a gun in somebody's hand. And I'm like, nope, to heck out.
Yeah,
nope.
Right evil looking thing, wasn't it?
Nope, can't do it. Mama Minnie is exactly the same as me. She inherited my fear of snakes, which was pretty funny when she lived here with her kids, because when we'd or my fear of spiders, rather. I think I said snakes. I had snakes on the brain there. It didn't matter what size. If a spider come in the house, me and her are up on the washing machine hollering for her oldest son to come kill it. Like, kill it.
I'm just going through the video now. I'm going to share the screen with you, so people can see the horror that's in the video. It was not a camel spider. In fact, camel spiders aren't even spiders, are they? Technically. Yeah, there's that big bad boy. And where's the other one? The really hoofing. Was it a wolf spider? Yeah, this is the one where he's like, yeah, there it is. Look at that.
Oh no.
Look at
No, get that off my screen.
Give it a kiss, Bloodwing.
No, nope, 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 nope.
No, I would probably poo.
Yeah, I am so bad that I have been known, and there are witnesses to this, J-Kid being one. I've been known to beat myself to death to get the tiniest of spiders off of me. I mean, the kind so tiny you can barely see it. But it don't matter to me. A spider's a spider, and they gross me the heck out.
Mm.
And I know it's silly. I'm a grown man. I'm a tough old bird, actually, in a lot of respects. But that's where I draw the line. Yeah.
Lindsay has the right attitude there. Kill it with fire.
Yeah. If it has more than 6 legs, I want nothing to do with it. Nothing.
See, I think I'm probably a bigger pansy than you when it comes to things like that, man. Because I don't mind like the tiniest spider. I'm fine with, like, if it's the size of like an ant or just a little bit bigger, I can deal with that. Any bigger though, and I will freak out. I'll do exactly what you just said. I'll beat the hell out of myself.
Yeah, perfectly faded delusions. Wasps are my enemy. I'm not afraid of them, but I give them the respect they're due, because wasps, unlike bees, at least for the most part, are evil.
Mean.
They will sting you for no reason. Just because you're there.
Yeah, angry little things.
Yeah. Here in Indiana, we get 2 kinds. We get a black wasp, which is big enough, and then we get a red wasp, which is much bigger. And those red ones are evil incarnate. I guarantee you. I'm not afraid of them. I've been stung before and what have you, and I'll probably be stung again. But I certainly give them the respect they're due.
Oh my God! What are you doing? Sit up, boy.
I go find my favorite the rest of my favorite DVDs.
That's because you don't look after them, boy. That's why. Right, just go back up to your bedroom for now. All right, I'll be up there in about 15 minutes, mate. All right.
Yeah.
I'll find them for you. I'm just going to link a channel, not for you, Bloodwings. I know you won't want to go there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to link a channel called Exotics Lair. It's a channel that I've been subscribed to since it was very small. It's blown the hell up in the last couple of months. I think I was subbed at around 20,000 subscribers. He's now 1.3 million.
Wow.
The guy who does it is actually really funny. He just stands over. He just stands over his pet tarantulas, calling them fat and like really mad and stuff. If you want to check that out, if you're fascinated by that kind of thing, there's the channel. I'm subscribed to him. I do watch his videos, even though I'm terrified of tarantulas and snakes and kind of stuff like that. But I'm still fascinated by them. So he's a pretty good channel. And he has like his house or whatever is filled to the brim full of things like this. It's basically my worst nightmare in a building.
Cynical Lindsay says, at least you guys don't have to deal with scorpions like I do where I live. I have. Mama Minnie, when she was in the Marine Corps, was stationed in Yuma, Arizona. So I'm very well versed and familiar with scorpions. Yeah. You in Arizona, when you wake up in the morning, you check your shoes before you put them on.
Yes. I've seen that in movies.
Yeah, you check your shoes because they will. Yeah.
They're little monsters as well, aren't they, scorpions? I've never actually seen one IRL. I think I saw one at London Zoo, but I've never actually obviously seen one in the wild like someone who lives in Arizona would.
Well, I don't much like them either because technically they are an arachnid as well, just like spiders. They're in the same thing. And Mama says, yes, and jacket pockets. Yeah, they'll get in anywhere they think they can for a little extra warmth.
Well, they've got a visible weapon attached to the back of them.
More than one. They got pinchers and a stinger.
Yeah, they got the pinchers on the front. Yeah.
You know,
they're basically battle crabs.
Yeah. Very much.
I have some more. Oh god. I nearly spilled my drink. managed to catch it. I have two more articles, if it's okay to quickly just speed through them.
Yep. You go right ahead.
Grand Rapids could make it illegal to call police on people of color for participating in their lives.
Okay.
I was going to read that again. I'm just going to read it again so it sinks into my head.
Yeah.
Grand Rapids could make it illegal to call police on people of color for participating in their lives. What does that mean?
I don't know.
So, like, if you're friends with a person of color, then
I don't know.
that doesn't sound right to me. Grand Rapids could soon have an ordinance that would make it a criminal misdemeanor to racially profile people of color for participating in their lives. What does that mean? The bias crime reporting prohibition is one of a handful of adjustments that would be made to the city's code as part of the proposed human rights ordinance. Other components include expanded protected class definitions, identifying 4 primary potential areas of discrimination, and an outline of the referral and compliance process. Grand Rapids leaders could vote on the proposal next month, but not before city stakeholders have a chance to weigh in during a public hearing at the 7 p.m. Tuesday, April 23rd Commission meeting in the 9th floor chambers of City Hall. We in the community have had various conversations over the last few years about disparities that exist in Grand Rapids, said Jeremy DeRue, executive director of the nonprofit advocacy group Link Up. The Human Rights Ordinance provides the infrastructure so that all these issues have a backbone supporting and addressing them. It creates a way to address a broad range of problems and to correct them. Okay, still not explaining to me what this actually is. Is people in the chat saying fake calls?
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Pumpkin trucker basically outlaws dog park debbies. That's a turn of phrase that I've never heard before.
It's people that'll call on other people, particularly black people or people of other races, because they're out having a good time and it annoys that individual, so they'll call on them.
Oh, so this is like the story that I had to bring up in my video today, where a white neighbor called police on like a 13-year-old kid because he was mowing the grass.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Thank you, the Batman, for your donation. So now in Grand Rapids, you can't call the cops on a black guy because he's sneaking out of your house with your TV. No, I don't think that's what they're saying, or I hope not. I'm really not sure. This is the wording of this is very obtuse.
It's very long, this article.
And just to jump back and answer Pumpkin Trucker's question real quick, not to get us off, but yes, we do get those big hornets. I don't have much trouble with them because I'm smart enough to not mess with them. So,
if I just quickly go through the proposed changes real quick.
Yeah.
Expanding the definition section to provide for clarity and transparency. The proposed ordinance includes 36 definitions. That's ridiculous, including the various types of protected classes. Every time they use that term, it makes me go, DeRue said the lack of definitions has created legal holes. At the same time, I kind of agree with the whole having enough definitions so there are actual proper definitions, because that's one of the big problems that we have with things like hate speech. So the definitions are far too broad. Identifying 4 primary potential areas of discrimination, which are discriminatory practices in housing, employment, contracting, and bias crime reporting. Each area has its own section in the ordinance. Housing, employment, contracting, and bias crime reporting. So this isn't just a case of people calling police on people of color for, just being whatever in the area or whatever, having a barbecue or whatever going down.
I mean, it sounds like now, having said that, and most of you know that I have 10 grandchildren, and out of those 10, 8 are biracial. And so my following comment, there's nothing racist meant about it at all. Black people tend to be in their gatherings, because I've been included in a few because of the mixed makeup of my family, are very loud.
Mm-hmm.
They're very loud, and so yeah, I guess there's some of that going on. I don't know, because they're loud, or I don't know. I feel like a lot of this is already covered by existing laws.
It probably is, you know. It's probably what it sounds like they're doing is it sounds like they're bringing in strict definitions.
Yeah.
So they're saying, so this is applies. So it's not just a case of, you know, just people being called on by the police because they were a person of color in a white area or whatever. But it sounds like housing. So does that mean that you could, as a landlord, be arrested and charged for refusing to rent a home to a black family or a people of color family?
Which is against the law. You're not allowed to discriminate, in housing, not because of race.
Yeah, employment, which I'm also fairly sure is also protected in America. You know, just like in the UK, we have the Equality Act.
Obandali, my family is loud too. And he's laughing. I hear you. I come from a long line of big mouths, and you can't tell probably too much because of the sound on this live stream, but I have to put the microphone a good ways away from my mouth because my voice carries. We're very loud. Mama Minnie's very loud. My whole family's loud.
If I just steam through this, mate, if I continue, adding a bias crime reporting prohibition and making it a criminal misdemeanor to racially profile people of color for participating in their lives. That is, no person shall make a police report that is based in whole or in part of an individual's membership in a protected class and not a reasonable suspicion of criminal activity in consideration of all available facts and totality of the circumstances. So you can't call the police on a person of color or a group of people of color just because they happen to be in your neighborhood wandering through it. Then they need to have actually committed a crime before you can.
Yeah. So Mrs. Kravitz there across the street looking out her curtains can't just say, "Oh my gosh, there's some black people in the neighborhood. I'm calling the cops."
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm not going to read the rest of it because it just seems a little bit confusing, if anything.
Yeah. Like I said, I still feel like we've already got laws that cover this, but okay.
It seems like they want to define it specifically, you know?
Well, they're going to have to get better than that really obtuse title.
Because they mentioned disparities, and that does happen. It does happen in America. New York is quite bad for it. The UK can be from time to time. It's not as prevalent as they try to make out, of course, but there are some disparities. The data's there. But I don't know if they needed to go so hard and in depth with that. And they keep using the term protected class.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
And that makes me go,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. The Batman Mrs. Kravitz needn't talk. We've all seen her son Lenny. I get it. That was actually, if you guys didn't get it, that was a reference to the old TV show Bewitched, because Mrs. Kravitz was the woman across the street from Samantha that was always looking out her window and spying on them. But
I have one more.
Yep.
And it's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Of course it is.
Yeah, it is disgusting. McDonald's apologizes after toddler found sucking on condom.
What?
In Perth restaurant. Of course, Perth is in Australia. Oh, God. McDonald's has apologized after a 2-year-old child found a used condom in the main dining area. Oh, how ghetto is your McDonald's? Oh, my. Well, Jesus Christ. In the main dining area of one of its franchises south of Perth and sucked on it. Oh, no. That's horrific. Oh God, they're gonna have to give that kid an STI check now. For God's sake. The woman who wished to remain anonymous, I do not blame you, madam, told 10 Daily's Antoinette Latouf she visited the fast food outlet in Warnbro with her husband and daughter around 6 p.m. on a Friday night. She told the outlet she was ordering their food at the counter when her daughter found the condom and put it in her mouth. The mother said the black condom looked used, but she said they couldn't find the packaging anywhere. She said she believed her daughter would have found it on a chair. I'm really angry and sickened. I haven't slept. I have been feeling overwhelmingly guilty for taking her there in the first place. I mean, yeah, I'd probably feel really bad about it myself. After leaving the restaurant and contacting their local doctor, the family was told to return to the restaurant, get the condom, and bring it to the hospital for testing. So they're going to test the jizz rather than the baby.
Right.
That's good. That's a good move. However, the mother said McDonald's staff refused to give the condom back. What do you mean they refused to give the condom back?
It's mine and you can't have it.
What if there is an STD there and my daughter is going to get it? We have to wait 2 months to do a blood test on her, she said. A McDonald's spokesman told WA Today the franchise was conducting an investigation on the incident. Yeah, maybe you should let the doctors do a friggin' test on it, yeah? It is understood a restaurant employee took the condom to the hospital. Well, okay. We are very sorry that the incident occurred and take situations like this seriously. Cleanliness and safety are our top priorities. Really? You're going to say that shit after that?
Yeah. I mean, how do you get a random used condom in your dining area?
That is,
I mean, let's be real. Here in the States, there are some McDonald's in some pretty nasty areas. I mean, let's be real.
Oh, I've been to some myself, but not that bad.
Come on.
Just a used bloody Johnny on the floor there. Yeah, I hope it's just a joke, Faithless.
Yeah.
I hope it's just, you know, a bit of mayo or something on the inside of it, and it was just a joke or something, and it was meant to be for like a mate, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I really hope that's the case. It's just as well the baby didn't fucking choke on it.
Maybe somebody was in the alley behind the McDonald's and carried it in on their shoe. I don't know.
It could be a number of different things. Yeah, I really hope it's just a prank or something. Some watered down mayo or something, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, cleanliness and safety are our top priorities, and we ensure the shift manager on duty conducts what we refer to as a travel path. Are they blind? The travel path sees the shift manager walk through and check all areas of the restaurant every 30 minutes. Well, oh my God. I mean, I truly hope that wasn't jizz inside that thing.
Thank you, Cryptic. Oh, Lord. For the donation, it's the secret sauce.
Oh, no.
Leave it to Cryptic to go there.
Of course he would. of course he would. Yeah, I just had this horrible image in my mind of a couple of obese bogans banging in the middle of McDonald's, you know? It was jizz, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I really hope not. I really hope not. But we've actually gone overtime.
Yeah, we have. That's just a sign that we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Having a good time. So yeah, but it is that time, folks. I do try to keep to a 2-hour format. But thank you all for coming here real soon. I will say this. I do hope to have, I guess you would call it a call-in stream for those of you that have followed me, you know, or whatever, that want to have a chance to come in and talk to me for a minute or so. That'll be in the works here before too long, because a lot of people, we do get a lot of, you think I don't see it, but I do see all the, hey, get me on kind of thing. But yeah, we'll have that for you if you're one of those people. But thank you for coming out and supporting the stream. And there's, you know, tons of ways that you can do that. Thank you to those that have donated. As always, thank you, Bear, for being here. Anything that you want to shill?
Yeah, I put out a new response video on R8 Bear today, responding to a lady who calls herself a crazed Indian housewife, and she did a video on white privilege, and I kind of responded to her in my typical usual fashion, guy. So if you're interested, please go give it a watch.
Crazed Indian. Does she mean that like Indian or American Indian?
Well, I mean, she lives in Canada, but she's like quite clearly like bloodline is actual India.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks again, and thanks a lot to everybody. And return on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. The next Narrate Redneck Radio will be Tuesday at 2:30 EST. Hopefully, we'll see you all back then. And as always, get out of my yard.